I don't even know where to begin. But we got to start somewhere, don't we? So, let's just read some headlines, shall we? This is going to be a long video, so if you are not a Phillies fan, you don't care about the Phillies as much as I do, then you can feel free to click off. If you are a Philly fan, you want more Phillies content, go ahead and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about the way the Phillies went about their doubleheader today against the Toronto Blue Jays. Because, man, oh, man. Before I even get to breaking down the games, and again, this is going to be a longer video, let's just read some of the top stories when you search up the Phillies on Google and look at Twitter. Why not? Because it's bad. It's bad and it's funny, and I love it and I hate it at the same time. From Yahoo Sports, Phillies fans implode after team's pathetic collapse versus Blue Jays. NBC Sports, Phillies blow 7-run lead in another absurd meltdown loss. Yahoo Sports again, Phillies blow 7-run lead in another absurd meltdown loss. Oh my gosh. Those are just in the past hour because there's 2 games today. There's a doubleheader. Spencer Howard pitched the first one. Vince Velasquez pitched the second one. And this is where it gets really funny. Both the starting pitchers were really good today. Pretty darn good. I don't know if I'll be able to find their stats, so like specifically, but I mean pitching. Here we go. So Spencer Howard in the 2-3 and the 3-2 loss. The Phillies, by the way, during this game, the first game, the Phillies were ahead 2-0 for the majority of it, up until the bottom of the 6th, and then they collapsed. But Bryce Harper hit a home run to start off the game, and I think it was what was it? Here, let's go back to the matchup here. McCutchen single to center scoring, and Roman Quinn. That was in the 3rd inning, and from that moment on, the Phillies did absolutely nothing. And speaking of Roman Quinn, probably at the most pivotal point of the game, he decides to not pay attention to where the ball is coming to him. He's in center field, and I've spent some time in the outfield. I'm haven't played in over 6 years because I didn't want to play through high school. I didn't want to follow sports by playing it. I wanted to follow it by doing this, and I was most of my time a left fielder, second baseman, third baseman, and occasionally first base. And in my time in the outfield, that's where I spent most of my time. I know the number one thing you got to do is keep your eye on the ball. Because no matter what you're going to do out there in the outfield, you know where you're going to throw it to. If you're going to throw it home, you're going to just full out throw it home. I never had to throw it home. My teams were never that bad enough where I had to do that. I always hit the cutoff man, and that's another thing. In a situation where it was like one person on base and someone was hitting a single, they're rounding second, or they're going to, if you field it properly and throw it to your cutoff man, or not even that, throw it all the way to third if you want, because he was headed to third anyway, right? Just focus on making a clean play, getting the ball in the glove, getting a grip on it, throwing it. Because even after his error, he was very close to picking the guy off at third base. And if you do that, it's 2 outs with 1 man on, and it's a completely different game. And you don't know. Maybe they're still playing it for all we know, because at that point it was a tie ball game. That was just one thing. And then Spencer, if we're going to go, let's look at stats, I suppose, because Spencer Howard did a really good job today. Well, not really good, but for the 3 innings, 3 2/3 inning pitched, he allowed 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 5 strikes, or 1 earned run. And his ERA went down a bit to 6.17. But then you got Blake Parker, who pitched an inning and allowed nothing. Blake Parker was perfectly fine. Jose Alvarez, now he got hurt making a heroic play. He got hit right in the groin. Probably got the wind knocked out of him. Still managed to hustle over to the ball and toss it to Reese Hoskins to get the out. But he had to get carted off because that must have hurt. The exit velocity was like 103 miles per hour. That hurts. That hurts. And he didn't in the 1/3 of an inning that he played, he was perfectly fine. There was a guy on base, I think he walked him. But Tommy Hunter and Guerra, whatever that guy's name is, They blew it. They flat out blew it. It was Tommy Hunter who ended up blowing the game specifically. But, man, that Roman Quinn era fired me up, and it fired up a lot of guys in the post-game show, people on Twitter and whatnot. That game wasn't too bad. It was ugly towards the end, but overall it was okay. But those mistakes that they made at the end were very not okay, for sure. You cannot put those ones aside. But this second game, in the first inning alone, they scored 7 runs and had a 7-2 lead going into the bottom of the 6th. The only runs that were scored in the first inning while Vince was in there, if we look at it, let's go up a bit. In the first inning, Hernandez homer to center on an 0-2 count. It was a 2-run home run. That was it. That was the only run scored. The only 2 runs that were scored were off of a home run, and it's Vince Velasquez. He's going to allow home runs. We know that, he always does. But my God, the 6th inning, and it wasn't even his fault. None of it was. He allowed a home run and a single. He was accountable for, in total, 4 runs. After that, let's see who it was that was pitching. I don't even remember who he was because he was some random dude. Connor Brogdon pitched a third of the inning and allowed 2 runs. 2 runs. Hector Neris came in and tried to fix everything. He didn't fix it. He made it worse. His ERA went up. And then Reggie McClain came in and finished the rest of it out. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And the reason why I'm looking at the earned runs, Velasquez has 4, and then Brogan has 2, and then nobody else has any other ones. You want to know why they don't? Because the rest of the runs were mostly scored on errors. A wild pitch by Hector Neris and Knapp. Excellent recovery. Great hustle, and an amazing effort. Was just a little too off on, getting another out, saving another run. But Hector Neris, oh my God. This second game, I don't even have to break it down. The idea alone that you were winning 7-0 going into the bottom of the second, and then okay, that's fine. You allow 2 runs in the first, and then you go the rest of the game, the next 4 innings, you don't allow any runs, nothing. The bottom of the 6th, it just implodes. And then in the 7th inning, they scored 1 run trying to make the comeback, but they couldn't. At the end of the day, the Phillies in this game had more hits than Toronto and more errors. And the errors are where more runs came in during that bottom of the 6th. And it's unbelievable the way this went down. The way the doubleheader today is the reason why the title of this video is what it is. And it's just like Philadelphia teams just really just want me to be sick, except for the Flyers and the Eagles right now, basically. And I have a history of being sick with the Eagles, but at the same time, most of it's out of their control, which is why I always come back to them and watch and always root for them. For the Flyers, or not for the Flyers, for the Phillies, it's always so hard trying to root for them, especially in the first game when nobody is trying to pick up the slack. Real Muto goes 0 for 3. And he even says it a couple of days ago that I was on that hot streak. I'm going to need people to pick me up. They got to step up and make plays. Nobody makes plays. Freaking Rhys Hoskins 0 for 2 and a walk. Ooh, a walk. Yeah, great. You got on base. Where's your hit? Why aren't you hitting the ball? Ricky Pitaligo said it perfectly. Why are these people not swinging as much? I don't mind them personally. I personally don't mind watching them, do or take pitches and force a walk. That's a good at bat, of course, but what's better? Swinging the bat, hitting the ball. Rhys Hoskins and his batter's average is a 203 right now. And then we still have this buffoon, Scott Kingery, This buffoon who's robbing the Philadelphia Phillies of like $24 million a year with a batting average of 111. That's his batting average. His on base percentage is 172. Like, are you kidding me? And he's slugging at 111 as well. It just disgusting. And the Neil Walker, like, you just look at the numbers alone. The only guys that I look at their numbers and say they're doing good: Bryce Harper, 338 batting average, 471, one of the best on base percentages out there. And then JT Realmuto, 274. He's gone down a little bit, but that's because he's on a little bit of a cold streak. And his on base percentage is a 329. Didi Gregorius has a 315 batting average and a 358 on base percentage. And it's just laughable. It's just laughable. And the Phillies, man, like, if they really think that they're not going to win this season. They're not going to win this season. They have a long way to go, and it all starts with the bullpen specifically. And then whatever the hell that they're doing with batting and hitting, practicing, all that stuff, you cannot rely on home runs to score your runs. You know, honestly, it's easier to score runs off of doubles and singles half the time. You don't have to hit the ball out of the park all the time. And then once you do make those runs happen and you score, your bullpen needs to be able to hold a lead. Vince Velasquez did not blow his lead. He was a part of blowing the lead, but most of the blow came from the bullpen. And that's something that needs to be rectified immediately. Or else the Phillies of this year and next year, null and void, nothing's going to happen. It's just going to be another laughingstock. Apologies for the long video. If you stood by throughout the entire thing, props to you. Drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. We got the Flyers and the Sixers again tomorrow, so we'll see how things go. And yeah, peace out, y'all. Fly, Eagles, fly. 24 and a half days. See you then.